Rosie, we'll start with you in terms of biggest surprise for you thus far this season.
I always get the easy stuff going first and just pick it clean for those
On
guys to
purpose, Rosie, on
grind
purpose.
because my brain don't work as good as others.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
I think it's Stoli to me. We didn't know what we had in the goaltending situation. If you go back to the summertime when they signed these guys, we're like, oh, great, we get a band-aid with no experience and a guy who's never been able to step up and be the starting goalie. Oh, that's going to be our answer, right? And I'm like, hold on. Wool has got so much potential. It's gross. My favorite thing about him is his mind and his mental state. And I'm probably stepping over Carter's toes here, being a tendy. But to me, when Stoli got in there, and it's just like 3 games, then 5 games, and we're all like, are we Are we seeing this? Like this guy stops everything, gives us a chance to win every night. He is the talk of the game after game after game after game. We're like, is this guy gonna have a big hiccup? Like, is this just too big for him? And just nope, he's just rock solid. And that was even in the face of a ton of pressure after Wool got hurt, and he really had to step up. And it was like, yeah, now it's not the luxury of having a guy behind you to fill in if need be. It's all on you, and he still stayed the course. It was impressive. So I was pretty happy to see that this season so far.
Yeah, I think you're bang on there. Obviously, I wasn't going to talk about the goalies, Rosie, so I'm glad you did because what
Woo!
else would I would talk about, right? But no, honestly, he's been awesome, and I agree with you. I think he's been the number one guy. But for me, I've been a big fan of OEL's game. I think he is a guy who was a star for a long time in this league, and his game dropped off a lot, right? And then he goes down to Florida. It's almost like he redefined his game, right? I had a conversation with Shane Doan when I was in Toronto watching the game. I got to know Shane a little bit when I was in Arizona, and he's a big backer of OEL. He was kind of one of the guys that he mentioned to me about how he redefined his game, and he thinks he's been that difference maker now for the Leafs, and the way he's come in there, solidified that back end. And again, we talk a lot about slotting, right? And I think that's such an important thing at every level, let alone like when you're younger. If you're kind of playing outside your role, it's tricky, right? Where now they have guys playing in the right segment. And I think for to stagger off of what you said, Rosie, having guys like him and Tanev and McCabe, 3 guys that have been very consistent, it makes it so predictable for a goalie. And that makes it so much easier knowing when you're going to the rink what your job is, what the D-man's job is. And yes, there's always going to be breakdowns. There's going to be chances that are unpredictable, but more consistency and more structure just makes everybody thrive more. And I think that's what I'm seeing now from this decor and goaltending. And it starts with forwards too. It's a whole unit, but OEL would be the guy for me that after a cup run and winning a cup, and he's played for so long, he's over 1,000 games now, he's made his money, to still be grinding and playing the way he's playing is very impressive for me.
OEL has been like such a stabilizing factor to watch back there. Every time he goes on the ice, I feel confident with him out there, with him with the puck in defensive situations. Like it seems like he's always making the right read. He's great in the offensive zone. He was definitely high up on my list. One of you guys have both brought up new players on the team.
Hmm.
One guy to me that's kind of been surprising, and I mean this in the best way possible, but is John Tavares. Johnny T kind of has found a way here to like turn back the clock. I don't know if it was the amulet or whatever the hell is going on with him, but at the beginning of the season, in all honesty, like I was thinking we might have the season from hell where it's gonna be can't find offense. Berube comes in. People in the fan base are going to turn quickly. This is a scoring team. Why don't these guys score? JT looked like he had a piano on his back when he was going up and down the ice. And now he's flying. Obviously, yeah, you might look and say, hey, we could get some support in some of these roles, maybe improve on center or help somebody out in some of those positions. But like JT has elevated his game and kind of eased a lot of the questions or frustrations the fan base had ahead of time, and basically just made it like a non-factor, a non-issue of him in there, whether it's on the power play, if it's his play at 5-on-5, if it's how he plays with Pacioretty, who's been another guy who was a great addition so far this offseason. But like Johnny T has been outstanding. He's taken this change in captaincy in stride, and I was worried that he was going to age poorly, and he's surprised me in terms of how well he's performed so far this season.
I like it. I mean, there's a variety of different routes you can go. I'm going to go a bit off the board and just a guy who really wasn't on the radar, and that's Max Pacioretty, right? A lot of doubters, a lot of haters coming into the season. What's this guy going to bring? Well, he's the most physical guy on the team at the age of 36, where he blows up a guy every single game. And I like the fact that he can gel in that top six. I know he was banged up earlier this season. He's played 22 games. He has 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. I mean, that's not too shabby for a guy at this point in his career. but it's more the intangibles that a Pacioretty brings to the table, where it's not just the offense, but it's how physical the guy is, how nasty he plays. And again, if you look at the track record of Pacioretty, he's never really played this way. And I think it's just another example of a guy who's fully bought into what Craig Berube is selling. And it's pretty clear. I mean, they told him, this is the way we need you to play if you're going to be successful and be signed by this hockey club. And I think he's exceeded expectations so far. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.